Namaskar. The question is how to overcome fear. It is a big question because fear is one of the greatest obstacles on the path of our development. It does not allow to express our inner potentiality. I have seen so many talented people, beautiful people, but there is a stifling influence of fear over the mind, and the person just cannot overcome and cannot express themselves. So on the path of spirituality, actually the person have to deal a lot with fears, with overcoming of the fear. On the path of spirituality, you are moving from animality to humanity, from humanity to divinity. And fear is the part of our animal nature. In every living being, there is a seed of fear. It is the basic most instinct. It comes very long way from the past. The seed is there, but that seed will be manifested only if there is an environment suitable for the manifestation of that seed. There are two types of emotions. One type is inborn. Like there is a greed. I want to eat food. I want to eat more. I want to have more. It is inborn instinct. It is there by default. It is the part of our animal nature. Human beings are very peculiar beings. By our bodies, we are animals, mammals. But our culture, our civilization, our ideology, the principles we follow in life, has turned us into humans, or we are trying to become humans. So there are two natures struggling, fighting within us. Animal nature, the power of our genes, and the higher nature, power of our ideology, power of our principles, power of our culture, and the higher instincts, which are also awakening within us. Because as we strive for higher purposes in life, our body also acquires glands and subglands that secretes different types of hormones that creates different types of feelings within us. Higher thinking, higher feeling, higher emotions. So there are two natures struggling with this. Older nature and the newer nature, emerging nature, divine nature. Jaiva Dharma, Bhagavata Dharma. So fear is the part of old nature. There are two emotions. One is inborn, just as I said, like greed, lust, anger. It is there in the animal structure. And some other emotions that are imposed. Of course, the seed of the emotion is in the inborn instincts, like fear, for example. The seed is there in the animal nature. But if the environment is not suitable for the expression of that emotion will not be developed. Like, for example, there is an environment completely free from the natural enemies. And even the animals will be there. They will be fearless. They will not fear humans. They will not fear any other animals. And too late. They go extinct. Human beings hunt them all down before they realize, oh, what is happening? So fear has been useful in the evolution. It was necessary in evolution, and it is necessary now in our human lives. It forces us to calculate, to think, and to try to not to take unnecessary risks. So it is useful. But too much of fear, it creates the stifling. The mind is stifled by that fear, and you cannot express yourself. So as a spiritualist, you are developing from animality to humanity, from humanity to divinity, and you have to fight with that fear, to express that divinity within yourself, to express the beauty of your principles, to express the beauty of your ideology. You have to fight with the fear. So fear is imposed. It is imposed by environment. parents are infusing the fear in their children. Don't go there. There is some ghost there. To control their children, they will infuse that fear. That is a very bad practice, because person will grow up with that fear. And that fear is not only the fear of the ghost. Once the fear has developed, the glands got accustomed to do the job of secreting the hormones of fear. That fear will be manifested in every affair of life. So it is better that parents do not infuse that fear complaints in their children. But anyhow, the fear, if I have fear, it has been imposed by the environment. So the two types of emotions are there. One is inborn and another one is imposed. And fear is imposed. And why I'm telling all this, why I'm talking about this imposed and inborn, because there are two ways to deal with those emotions. Those which are inborn, you cannot go into direct opposition with them. You need to somehow to sublimate and elevate those emotions. I will record one complete video about this inborn and imposed emotions. This will be very useful in our life. But if the emotion is imposed, the way to overcome that emotion is to go into direct confrontation with that emotion. For example, if there is a fear, it is an imposed emotion. So if you hide away from the fear will grow. If you face the fear will fade away. So this we have to remember. I will come back to it. The way to overcome imposed emotion is through direct opposition. You come in close touch with the situation where you experience that emotion. That is one thing. Secondly, the emotion of fear has a physical basis. Actually, there are several physical bases. There are three types of fear. One type of fear is located at the level of the genitals. There is a center called Swadhisthana chakra. And at that center, there is a fear of annihilation. You fear to lose your life. You can feel it, you can experience it. If you, let's say, if you walk on the roof of the skyscraper building, and then you come to the border and you look down, some people who fear the heights, they will feel, oh, at that moment they will feel electricity at the level of the genitals. They will feel that something is just like moving there. Uncomfortable feeling, and you are becoming paralyzed. Another type of fear is located at this center. It is related to the secretion of adrenal glands. This fear is fight and flight response. This fear activates you. You feel activated with this fear. Either you want to run away or you want to fight. The fear goes into the aggression. It is a little higher expression of fear. You become aggressive. You don't want to run away. You want to overcome. But at that moment, your judgment is lost. Your rationality is not working because you are just so afraid. Like, there are so many cases, there are so many stories. People shoot each other just because of fear in their mind. I want to shoot first. So that is the fear here. And then there is fear here at this center of Anahata chakra. It's a sort of worry. I am worrying. I'm feeling maybe something will happen, maybe something will happen, maybe something will happen. That fear is connected with hope. If there is a hope, there will be also worry. Hope and worry, they come together. If there is no hope, there is no worry. So physical approach to overcome fear is very important, because remember, our body is an animal structure, is a mammalian structure. With the genes, for a million years, we were hunters and gatherers. And only for the last 15,000 years, or some people say 30,000 years, we have some sort of civilization. My spiritual master has said that civilization actually can be counted from the time of composition of Rig Veda, about 15,000 years ago, when people discovered agriculture and so on and so on. So we were hunters and gatherers, not much different from animals, and our genes are of animalistic nature. So it is if you want to control the emotions, we have to pay attention to the body, because the body is the source of many emotions. The emotions created how? The glands will secrete the hormones and we will feel the emotions, including the higher emotions. If you are in the habit of higher thinking, taking great ideation, thinking noble thoughts, thinking to serve humanity, thinking to achieve great accomplishments, those thoughts, they will have to be supported by the glands and the secretions of hormones. So in the beginning, before you start thinking like that, those thoughts are alien to you. You don't feel like. But if you think over and over again, slowly the glands will be activated, which will secrete a higher and higher hormones, higher secretions, supporting your higher thoughts. And then you will find yourself that you are not anymore inspired to think the animal thinking, but you are inspired to think bigger. Your thinking becomes vast. So in this way, human being becomes great. This is the mental process. But we have to also understand the power of our body. For many thousand years already, the science of yoga exists. Yogis have discovered that there are certain positions of the body that pressurize the glands and alter the hormonal secretions. So if we will pressurize this portion of the body, we will alleviate the fear. Also aggressiveness, irritation. When people are very irritable, they go into the angry state of the mind very easily. This can be changed just by pressurizing this area. And there are asanas, such as chakrasana, wheel posture, such as dhanurasana, the bow posture, utkata paschimottanasana, folding yourself into halves, such as mayurasana, peacock posture. Then there is a mudra called Agnisara mudra. You pressurize your navel area. And then there is Uddayana mudra. So these asanas will help you to regulate the hormones. And you will feel, within 3 days, you will feel very, very different. From 3 days, from the beginning of the practice, you will feel quite different if you do properly. So that helps to overcome fear. Also, proper diet. When we ingest animal protein, especially meat, there is so much of fear hormones there. When the animal is slaughtered, it releases so much fear hormones. So when we consume that meat, it becomes part of our structure, becomes part of our body. And it stimulates the same instincts that the animal experienced before its death. So it is better not to entertain any such diet, is to avoid to follow the vegetarian diet. I asked one friend of mine, I asked him, what is your suggestion? How to change humanity? And he just recently started to practice meditation, and it is just yesterday he was in a different state of the mind. So I want to know his opinion. He said, Dada, need to change diet. Without changing of the diet, nothing is possible. He said, I was in such a crude state of the mind. This would be completely impossible for me to meditate and do yoga and even to, follow morality, all these things. But accidentally, due to my health reasons, I changed the diet and my entire consciousness has been changed. So I think this is the very important thing. So asanas and diet is the physical approach to overcome heavy emotions in the body. You will see that 50% of your heavy emotions is already gone if you adopt this approach. Then next comes psychic approach, psychological approach. The tendency is to avoid the danger. This is fear. To avoid the danger is fear. So we need to avoid avoiding the danger. We need to learn how to avoid the fear. And nowadays there are these ideas that, law of attraction, if you think negatively, then negative situation will come to you. And now people not only fear the situations, they fear to fear the situations. So my personal approach, when I feel much lighter, is to accept the situation. I fear something. Then there is inner inacceptance. No way. I'm not going to survive this. And by nature, I'm very fearful. Believe me, I had to deal a lot with my fear. Then I will imagine the worst of the worst. Not just imagine it. Sometimes people, sitting there on the sofa and imagining worst of the worst things and really worry because there is no acceptance. So I will purposefully imagine the very, very worst situation. Then I will tell myself, so what? This has happened. I'm still there in my imagination. I'm still there. It's okay, I can deal with it. No problem. If it will happen, I will deal with it. So there is a confidence arising from that stand you take. So this psychological approach. Psychospiritual. Psychospiritual is like there is a practice. I will explain you later. It's called Varnargyadan. You offer to Supreme Entity your life. You tell internally to the Supreme Consciousness, to God, I'm in your hands. So if you want me to go through this situation, I accept. I know you are the benevolent entity. So I let go. I don't want to control anymore. I don't want to hide anymore. I don't want to run away anymore. If you want me to go through this, I will go through this. If this is your will. This will also empower you. It is difficult to do because somewhere in the superconscious mind we know that once you let go of your control, once you entrust your life to the Supreme Power, changes will start to happen in your life. You are not anymore in control. You will have to, at every moment of your life, manage and adjust. You cannot control the wave, but you can learn how to skate, and you can enjoy also. You use the power of the wave to skate. So this is spiritual life and how to be away from the fear. If the situation comes, I will deal with it. I will use it to my advantage. So this attitude, psycho-spiritual approach. So you will see that in the childhood, in the youthhood, we are more prone to fear. as adults, we are quite fearless. Sometimes it's the opposite. It depends on the path that person has walked. But if I faced challenges in my life, I don't fear anymore. I have built several houses with my hands. I don't have fear that I will be shelterless. I know if the moment will come, I will, with these hands, give me 1 week time, I will build a house. So there is no that fear. Sometimes people, they fear, oh, what will happen? Maybe I will be remaining without money. Then you acquire different skills and you make money, you earn money. You understand? No, never the moment will come that I will not have enough. And then also, so this is facing the situation. This is facing, you face the situation, I don't know how to build, I have a fear, first time I was going to build a house. So I went to my neighbor and he just recently built a house. So he was showing me, oh, we did like this, we did like that, and so many details and so many complications. And I thought, oh my God, I will never ever be able to do the same thing. But once I started to do myself, I found that there is nothing difficult. Everything is simple. So fear has evaporated. So face the situations, face the challenges. And also the trust. If you trust the supreme power, it happened to me. Once I went into another country without money. I only had $3 in my pocket. And I had some things, some merchandise to sell. So I went without contacts, without friends, 20 years ago. No internet that time. Just trusting the supreme power will take care of me. And it really took care. I will tell you later. Sometimes I will tell the story. So, many situations, I felt that somehow there is a force that guides me, that takes care of me, protects me. I am never alone, never helpless. So this conviction also helps to overcome fear. Then psycho-spiritual also. There are psycho-spiritual centers called chakras. Those chakras, they are developed through a certain process. You do meditation. For now, you are doing basic meditation. And then slowly in the course of time, you can learn the advanced techniques of the meditation. And in those techniques, your chakras, you exercise, they become stronger. As the chakra becomes stronger, it controls all the emotions around. Let's say if you make the Manipura chakra very strong, you become practically fearless. So there are tools, there are spiritual tools, meditation tools to empower. Those are actually the most powerful. The physical approach is powerful, but psycho-spiritual approach is the most powerful. There is a huge change. Even if half a year the person practices those lessons, he will feel complete change in himself. Okay, so physical approach is asanas. Psychic approach, facing the situations. Psycho-spiritual approach, do meditation. Spiritual approach, have surrender, have trust into the Supreme Entity. And also in meditation, what happens? The very root of all those fears is the fear of annihilation, that I will lose my existence, that I will die. The fear of death is the greatest fear. Everyone has it. Where does it come from? It comes from the attachment to the body, from the very idea that I am the body. I am the body. I'm the mind. If you go beyond that idea, I'm not this body, I'm not this mind, I am the spirit, eternal, then you will feel no fear. That fear, slowly, little by little, it goes away. I experienced it in my meditation. When you do it again and again and again and again, part of meditation is called Pratyahara Yoga. Pratyahara means to withdraw the mind from the external world. The fear comes from attachment. If you destroy the root of the fear, if you destroy the attachment, the fear is not there anymore. So you withdraw your mind from the objects of the external world and you become independent on them. So you don't fear anymore to lose them. I have seen this. This is a theory, but practically how it works. You know, sometimes women, they're so attached to their bodies. I mean, men, women, everybody, in different ways. But in women, this attachment is seen in the way how they take care of their body. So I know quite a few. So much makeup, so much fear to be natural, to be what they are. So much fear that they will not be loved, they will not be accepted. Then they start to do meditation. Within 3-4 months I see no makeup anymore. Natural beauty. Why? Because there is a change in the idea. I am the body. If the body is not beautiful, I am not beautiful. I don't deserve to be loved. But when you meditate, when you extract your mind, of course here in this channel, these are esoteric practices. So they taught through the personal instructions. The teacher instructs personally and secretly the disciple. So in this channel, I am able to present only the basic technique of meditation, even though that basic technique is very, very powerful. But if you go a little step further and you practice the more advanced technique, there is a way to extract the mind from the external world, from the body. You feel bodiless. You feel just a drop, tiny drop of consciousness. And then from your memories, from the mental objects, of the mental attachments. Through that practice you feel less and less fear, because you are not anymore with the objects of the world, you are not anymore with the body, and you are not anymore even with your mental objects. You are not afraid to be challenged in the sphere of ideas. Sometimes people, they fear so much that challenge, so that they become aggressive. If you question them, instead of having a logical discussion, they will become aggressive. They feel it is a personal insult. So meditation changes you very, very much by destroying the seat of the fear, the attachment to different kinds of objects, external objects, the object of the body and the objects of the mind. All right, this is the short presentation on how to overcome fear. Do the asanas, Chakrasana, Utkata Paschimottanasana, Mayurasana, Dhanurasana, Agnisara Mudra, Udayana Mudra, and so on. Change the diet. Don't ingest the food which is filled up with the emotions of fear. Surrender to the Supreme Consciousness. Let go. Feel that at each moment the Supreme Power is taking care of you. And as situation comes, you have power, you have inner power to deal with that situation. If you don't have, don't worry. That power will be provided when the moment will come. This is also my experience. And also my experience, you know what, that 99% of fears is baseless. They never come true. So don't fear to fear. Don't fear to fear. Sometimes, oh, if I think those fears, it may come true. Don't fear to fear. Think that, okay, the worst of the worst, now I'm dealing with it internally. Overcome it in your own mind, and you'll find out that you're not fearing. And the last thing I almost forgot, and this is the most powerful, really, truly the most powerful way to overcome fear. That is the practice of kirtan, practice of chanting mantra. When you sing Bhavanam Kevalam, especially you do it together with a dance called Lalita Marmika. That dance, the very dance, has such a strong biopsychological impact on the body and mind. Like, for example, you raise the hands. Thus, raising the hands already removes the fear. You go and see the movie, the video about Lalita Marmika. I'm explaining that in detail. And then also singing this auto-suggestion, Bhavanam Kevalam. The Supreme Consciousness is all there is. The Supreme Love is all there is. What do I have to fear? So that fear will go away after 10-15 minutes of singing mantra. Sometimes I'm going through different situations in life and I do fear, but then I just do kirtan. And after doing kirtan, I feel fearless. I feel now I can deal with any situation. Whatever situation will come, I will deal with it. So this is the spiritual approach to overcoming the fear, and we must overcome it. We must move from animality to divinity. We must express our divine potential. Thank you very much. Namaskar.